Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started. We are on week 1 of our brand new book study, which I'm so excited about this book. I love this book. This book has become one of my absolute favorites. It's Get Over Your Damn Self, and I know you don't see that Rachel's name is on here, but she's right here. We're sharing a computer today where technology has failed us in all areas, so we're just going with the flow. But this book, I stumbled upon this book when I was checking out at Amazon one day, and it was like books that are something that you might like it was a recommended purchase. And I'm like, Get Over Your Damn Self. That sounds like something that I'm going to absolutely love. And I'm so glad I purchased it. Fell in love with it immediately. Told Rachel and Allie and Marcella, I'm like, you got to get your hands on this book. Started talking about it, reading about it. And I just knew once I read the book completely that we needed to dive into it. I feel like if there was any book or study or guide or something, if somebody was getting into network marketing and they A, didn't know what network marketing was, B, very skeptical about the process, or they're struggling with time management, or they're like, where do I even begin, or how do I get to point A to B, how do I even become the successful top earner or whatever, I feel like this is the book that needs to be handed people. So my personal recommendation, what I'm wanting to start doing, is when people join my team and they're ready for the business, like you know those people who are nervous and like, I just kind of want to test out the products for 3 months. We know those people, but you know the people who are like, no, I'm in it, girlfriend. Like I've got it. We got debt. Like I'm ready. Teach me the ways. I'm going to be purchasing this book for my brand new level ones who are like, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. This is the book that I would completely recommend. So we're going to dive in just so we can talk about for this study real quick. We're going to break it down into 8 weeks. In the middle of the session, or whatever, I guess you could say, training study, Rachel and I will be in Hawaii, not next Wednesday, but the next. So we're going to use that week 3 as a makeup kind of training. So if you're watching this recorded or whatever, that's going to be our time to catch up on some chapters, maybe read ahead a few chapters, dive in a little bit more. So we will not be doing that book study that week because the time zone is so completely kind of crazy. We would be having like supper and y'all would be asleep, or vice versa. Y'all are having lunch and we're having breakfast. So anyways, just want to talk to y'all about that. The introduction, she goes and talks about a little bit of backstory on herself, which I think is pretty cool to know where she comes from in this journey, how she relates to us with Plexus. She does not talk about her company as the name, but she is a top earner for Rodan & Fields as well, so the skincare line company. So we just read a book from Sarah Robbins, who's a top earner of them as well. So they've got some pretty successful people over there in Rodan & Fields writing these books, but they're doing pretty good. Her name is Rami. And she was from corporate America, mom, wife, and she got tired of struggling. She got tired of living the cycle of their life, and I love that. But I'm going to do chapter 1 today, and I'm going to pass it over to Rachel, and she's going to do chapter 2. But chapter 1 was titled Why People Fail and Why They Ain't That Ain't Gonna Be You. So she already is talking my language because ain't is probably one of the most popular words that I use, and I know a lot of you use, especially from the South. So she immediately goes into her book talking about how we are celebrating us as business owners. She's like, congratulations, you own a business. And I know I've said that at least 100 times on lives and calls that I've done. I'm like, congratulations, sister girl, you're a business owner. Like, get it together. But you are at this point. You have a turnkey ready business. And when we say turnkey, we mean it's ready to rock and roll. You don't have to have any inventory. You don't have to have a storefront. You don't have to have boxes. You don't need to hire employees. You are ready to rock and roll the second that you joined Plexus. So she talks in a little bit about, what this is and what it's not. And a lot of people, I know myself included, sorry, I'm getting like a crick in my neck, like already. Like, let me see if I can stand this up. Let's see if we don't, to put it out. Maybe this will work for us. Hold on. Okay. Technical difficulties. When the air doesn't work and you don't have a table. I can't look down all the day. I'm not going to be able to look up anymore. All right. Are we working? Cool. We're lopsided. Okay. So she talks about what it is and what it is not. And I know for myself, before Plexus, I rolled my eyes at the idea of what this company or these types of companies could be. And then I thought, well, that's just easy peasy, okay, sell some product, boom, get this car, whatever. And I didn't associate that to really work. And then I joined Plexus and my whole idea changed. So maybe you thought that as well, or maybe your family member has thought that as well. But she talks about how there's nothing about this business that's easy. And a lot of times we think it's easy, like, oh, you know, it's so easy. Anybody and everybody can do it, because we say that. Anybody and everybody can do this. You don't have to have a certain type of degree or education or background to make this doable for you. But if it was that easy, why are there not everybody's a top earner? And that should be the question you should ask yourself, you know. And then she goes in to say, you know, wait a minute, I didn't say that this business was easy. This is anything but easy. She says it's simple, but the terminology of simple and easy are two completely different things. And I think that's where we get screwed up, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, no, it is simple. It's a simple process. It's simple duplication. You know, but there's nothing about it that's easy. And she says it's actually really hard. And I know for myself, I'm going to tell you, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Now, I've never been a mom. I've never given birth, but you know, this is harder than college to me, hands down. I graduated cum laude, and I graduated on the dean's list every semester of college. That's something that I strive for. And this is harder than that. This is harder than my first year of marriage, and that's usually not a pretty year. So this is harder than some hardships I've gone through. This is hard. This is super hard. You dig deep in a way, and you learn to grow in a way that you didn't even know that you were going to grow, if that makes sense, or if anything that you were going to do in your life. She said, so it's actually really hard. It's going to test you in ways you've never imagined. And it is. Are you tough enough? Do you have the thick enough skin? Are you able to be told no and get back up and get back down? And she talks about, on that page 13, emotional roller coaster. She said, it's going to be a roller coaster for you sometimes. You're going to want to fly off, and you're going to want to hurl, and you're going to get nauseous and sick. And if you haven't seen the Melissa Ackenhorst emotional roller coaster video on YouTube, we'll post that in this event page. But I urge you to watch that, because she describes it so perfect for us in our plexus journey. Melissa is a diamond, and she talks about how you go up, yeah, I've got a customer, I'm so excited. Boom, I got a white line, I'm so depressed. Oh my gosh, somebody else to join my business. Oh, they went out, they left, and they don't want their products, they want a refund. Oh my gosh, yay, people are calling and messaging me. Nobody talks to me. So you're up, and then you're down, and you're up, and you're down. That's that emotional roller coaster that doesn't do us any good at all, no matter what company you come from in this type of industry. So she really speaks my lingo here, and I think she speaks a lot of your lingo, because I talk with a lot of y'all, and I know your type of backgrounds and the way that you function. And she says, I've told you I'm not a BS kind of girl. If you want sugarcoat, and she said, this is not your version of a business, then you've come to the wrong place. This isn't it. If you're looking for a book or a study or even a company that's, oh my gosh, so glorious, and everything's going to turn out perfect, and there's not going to be a hardship, and we're going to tell you, honey, all you got to do is make a vision poster and you'll be diamond. She said, this ain't it. You got the wrong place. So I love that. She's speaking my lingo completely. But she goes in on page 14, and she talks about how our business is broken down into 3 buckets, because she does say this business isn't easy, but it is simple. And she says it's laughable simple, like comical. It's that simple. And I know what you're thinking, because I've thought the same thing before. If it's that laughable simple, then why don't I have a full team of complete top earners? And you're probably thinking to yourself, if it's that laughable, Jill, and you're laughing about it, then why am I not Ruby, Senior Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond? Why am I not there if it's that laughable simple? Because we make it too complicated, and then it goes into 3 buckets, and then she goes into 4 reasons why we're not successful and why people fail. And I couldn't agree with that more. She said, all we have to do is share about our business and these products. Is that what we have to do? Yeah, absolutely. Share about these products. We have amazing products, and we need to share about our business. When you're talking to people, and enough people, you will be successful. So the 3 buckets she breaks down into, and Sarah Robbins talked about this as well. So if you read that last book with us, you've got that background knowledge. You've got your customer base, people who fall in love with your products. We love our customers. You need to treat them really well. And then we've got our business perspective people who think business, or think, hey, I'm interested in this business, and they join you as an ambassador, and they want to work the ranks through you, and travel and earn the incentives and the trips, and they see the vision of Plexus. And then you've got people who fall in the 3rd bucket as connector. I have plenty of, I think my connector bucket is almost overflowing for where I'm at in my journey. And I think Rachel could agree as well. She's over here like, yes, yes, yes. My connector bucket is huge. There are so many people that I have met who've led me to somebody else because of their mother-in-law, their cousin, their friend, or I've had a level 1 sign with me. I have plenty, and they're not pursuing the business today, but they've signed somebody up and they're pursuing the business. So one of my amazing rock stars, becomes a level 2. And I train and adopt them like a level 1. And that's going to happen in this business. You've got customer, you've got business, and you've got connector. We cannot overlook anyone. We can't be disappointed when somebody joins us as a customer and not a business builder. And we can't be disappointed when somebody joins us as a business builder, but then they don't build their business, but then their best friend joins them and it connects, and you're like, oh, but my level 1's check collector and she's in the way of me getting more points or more incentives or more BBBs, business building bonuses, or it happens. And you know what? Thank goodness for that check collector and that person that did say yes to Plexus, because they wouldn't ever led you to somebody else. And so I know probably our upline, Lauren Kubeka, could probably say the same thing. She could easily say like, Jill's sister doesn't do anything with this business, but she's like, no, if Jill's sister didn't join, Jill wouldn't join. If Jill didn't join, Rachel wouldn't join. If Rachel wouldn't join, Katie Lawson wouldn't have joined. If Katie Lawson wouldn't have joined, Nina wouldn't have joined. Boom, 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 boom. It goes down the whole entire list. So we can't be disappointed about our expectations for somebody that they don't fulfill. Everybody's got their own journey here. So she goes on into page 15. This is network marketing, and I highlighted the whole top paragraph, and I wrote on the top of my book. You can see the top of my book right there. So I'm a big note taker. I wrote, "This is network marketing." Put arrows. If we keep doing this day after day, month after month, and after a few years of consistently showing up and doing the work, I highlighted real big and underlined work, we have a thriving business that can do everything from fill vacations, college, retirement funds, and provide career exit strategies for a transformation of wealth. And that is so extremely true. I want you to think of the Diamond documentaries that you have watched personally. How many of those women and men have joined this company and put in the work? And today you see them on Facebook. I know you see them. I'm thinking of Amy Paul right now, the mom of 7. What about Bridget Ryan, who's buying her dream home and they're traveling? What about the Heffleys, Rob and Jessica Heffley? They have bought a bus themselves and they're traveling. I know that you've seen that for a lot of people, and you're like, they just vacation and they're all living on buses and homeschooling and going and doing, and their husband's home every day. Like, I don't understand that. But you didn't see their process to get there and what they still do to maintain that. And I could easily go back and put that on myself. You see, oh my God, Jill has time to do this business all day long because she doesn't work another job. But guys, I was never a stay-at-home wife. That never was anything that was even allowed to even be discussed in our life. When I brought up being a stay-at-home mom to Dakota, he almost turned his nose up and went, yeah, right. You're not going to do that. And he had a bad taste in his mouth about it because he worked with men who their women were stay-at-home wives, and they drained their bank accounts. And they didn't do anything. And so for him, he was like, no, you always will work. That was a big heated discussion and conversation in our household for years. So I never was a stay-at-home wife, and I never planned on being a stay-at-home mom. And I still don't plan on being a stay-at-home mom today. I'm going to be a work-at-home mom. So this is something that this business can provide. And she goes into talking about that. She said, that's our business. That's it. It only took 4 short paragraphs to spell it out. And so I love her sarcasm on that. She said, that's it. That's what it takes to do day in and day out, month after month, year after year. Put in the work, and your business will build those types of funds and will build those types of career exit strategies for your spouse or for yourself. So she goes into, I love the 4 reasons why people fail. And I want you to think about when we're talking about this today, and hopefully while you're reading it, you kind of processed on it. Which area could you fall in? What do you feel is not holding you back, what do you feel that is holding you back to the best of your ability? What do you feel is holding you back to that next rank? What do you feel is holding you back from your next paycheck growth? And be very honest and be very reflective with yourself. This is where you'll grow. Where do you fall? Reason number 1, they're not coachable. And so you can easily put on the defense. I'm coachable. I'm here. I'm on this call. I'm doing these things, Jill. Okay. But I want you to really think about it. And she talks about, if someone's not seeing success, it's always because they're not following the system, either because they don't trust it or because they're arrogant enough to think they can do it faster, stronger, and better. So it's easy to think, okay, well, I don't like Jill's ideal about that, or I don't like what corporate sends out about Rank Up Roadmap, or I'll just redo it myself. Well, that's being arrogant in the fact, and that's not being coachable in the situation. And she even goes into say on the bottom of page 15, on that last sentence, I did what the successful members of my upline told me to do. And she said, I plugged into every resource of the company. I became a student of the profession. And I feel 100% that's what we have to do as Plexus ambassadors. We need to become students of the profession. I did exactly what I was coached to do. I remember logging on calls on my conference period as a third grade teacher that Nikki Hinkle or Jamie Mays would do, one of our Diamond up lines, or it was posted by somebody, a sideline group that I was able to get on, Sarah Taylor's team page or something, and I would listen any chance I would, and I would hear them say, talk to people. Don't wait for the people to come to you. And I'm like, okay, I need to talk to people. You need to post every single day. Okay, I need to post every single day. You need to get involved in the groups. You need to get involved in the trainings. I remember when they came out with Super Saturday and they said, you need to be at Super Saturday. Your butt needs to be in chair if you were serious about this business. I said, okay, I am. That's being coachable. What is not being coachable is saying, you've come to Rachel or you come to myself or Allie or Marcella or whoever your upline is and you said, I'm not growing in this business. Oh, I'm so frustrated. My paycheck's going down. It's dwindling. And they say, hey, are you utilizing happy hour for your network? And you're like, no, I don't have time to get on happy hour. And you become arrogant and you become defensive. They say, hey, you know, you're not getting me on three-way calls. I'd love to help you with three-way calls. Have you thought about implementing that? And you're going, well, I don't have time for that. That's being arrogant. We all have an excuse of what we think about this business. So she said, once I learned the basics, and I highlighted this in pink on my page. You can see my page. I've got yellow, black, and pink that stand out for different things for me. In pink. And she said, once I learned the basics, I was able to add my own personality, flair, and experience to the mix, but not until I knew what the hell I was doing. And I believe in that 100%. Today, my trainings for us and the contest, I had my own personality, my own flair to it. In the beginning, I needed to know what the hell I was doing. So I attached myself to anybody more knowledgeable than me and said, how do you do it? What do you do? What do you say to people? What information do you give to people? How do you talk to your downline? And I need to master what the hell I was doing. And she says that on page 16. Then once you grab that, put your spark and flair to it. So I know a lot of us think, oh my gosh, I need my own team page. I need my own training. I need my own videos. I need my own book study. I need to own this. Don't grab on to your own style and flair and this and that when you don't even know what the hell you're doing. And that's okay to say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm going to lock arms and be a leech with my upline, and I'm going to learn anything that I can do. I'm going to soak it in. I don't care if I'm soaking in until I'm Ruby. I'm Senior Ruby. A rank doesn't determine how long you need to be attached to somebody. You should be involved with your uplines and your team all the time. All the time. And it's not like a breakaway process where you divorce your upline and say, bye, I don't need you anymore. No, it's never that way. Never that way. And she puts in that little box on that page, make a commitment to be 100% coachable. Declare it right now. And she says, get in action. And I love this. She says, declare it right now wherever you are, even if you're on an airplane, if you're in a chair at the salon with a bunch of folds in your hair, or you're next to your sleeping baby, sleeping hubby. She said, I want you to say, I'm 100% coachable. And then she says on that page, do not say that if you are not serious. She said, did you do it? Did you declare it? I am 100% coachable. And I'm going to say that to myself. I am Jill Renfro, 100% coachable. I am ready to dig. I'm ready to dive. I'm ready to do it. It's like my vows in my marriage to this business. She said, if you did, then you're already sailed over your first obstacle here. If you didn't declare it, I don't want you to say it unless you really, really completely believe it. And then she said, I want you to close this book and I want you to read no further because you're not ready to dig in, because you're not coachable. And if that's you right now and you're feeling like, no, Jill, I'm not, well, then that's okay. That's okay. You can turn off the call. You can log off. No hard feelings. It's nothing that anybody can be mad or hurtful for. It's you have to be honest with yourself and say, am I 100% coachable? And if you are 100% coachable, type it in the chat thread, girl. Let's see who's 100% coachable. And if you're not, no hard feelings. That's okay. You're not ready for the growth process yet. She said, stop. Set this book down. I don't want you to read anymore. It's not for you. She said, this is the business. She says, why is this coachable piece so important? If you're not coachable, she said, you're not going to talk to enough people. And as we know, if you're not talking to enough people, you're not going to be successful. The people who are not growing in this business are not talking to enough people. That's honestly the simple, laughable thing she says about our business. She says, She sees this time after time, over and over again. You have to be talking to people. And she even says it in capital letters. I love it on this page. She said, all the damn time. I'm not kidding. You have to talk all the damn time. And then she says, we like to call them the uncoachable. So if you're uncoachable and you refuse to implement, you refuse to use the resources, you refuse to be honest with yourself, you know, she said, then again, put this book down. It's not for you. And that's okay. This is the book study for the digging the deep. I'm digging the deep. I don't know where you're going, but I want to go further, farther, faster, bigger, better. I do. So she goes into talking about how this is you being a turnkey entrepreneur. She said, becoming a professional network marketer, turnkey entrepreneur, social networking, direct sales professional, whatever you want to call yourself, it requires you to become a student of the profession. So reflect on that. Do you feel like you're being a student? Because right now I do. I feel like I have got my textbook, I've dove in, and we came to class today. And we're listening to a lesson, a lecture, and we're diving in. And then we're going to go take what we know, and we're going to apply it as homework. And then we're going to hope that our C becomes a B, and our B becomes an A. I'm a student of the profession, and I'm ready to become a master at this. I'm ready to get my PhD in this. That's how coachable I'm ready to be. So talk to yourself about those things. Reason number 2. People are not successful. They don't treat this like a business. They treat it like a hobby. And we've talked about that a lot before in other book studies and things that we've done. This is, if you're making hobby money, fabulous. This is going to be a business when you can take your paycheck and pay your living expenses. Until then, you're still at a hobby. So treat it like a business, and it's going to start producing like a business. So she talks about on page 18, this is called network marketing, not net slacker marketing. So we can be honest with ourselves. How many of us have been a net slacker marketer before? I have. Absolutely. I have. I've been a net slacker marketer before. And I've used every excuse in the book. My kids in my classroom need me. My husband's only day off. I'm so tired. I've only had 3 hours of sleep. My house is unclean. I have to do X, Y, and Z. I don't have the time. That's a net slacker, and I don't want to be a net slacker. I signed up to be a network marketer, and that requires my work 100% of the time and to dive full in. And I'm committed to that, absolutely committed to that. So she talks about how your open sign for your business. And I've used this analogy before, so it's kind of cool that she lined up with it. She talks about how our open sign, we don't have a neon sign, but we do have a way to be open. Every time our mouth is open, our business is open. She said every time your mouth is closed, your business is closed. So think about your posting. That's showing your network on social media. You're open. When you're out to the public, church camps, Mother's Day out, volunteers, kids' school, and you're talking about Plexus, your business is open. Or talking about what you do. When your mouth is closed and nobody knows what you do or why you do it or the products that you have, that is your business doors. You close them for the day. And I urge you and challenge you, open your business doors. Because when they're open all the time, business is going to be flowing in all the time. It's when we shut those business doors because life gets busy. And she talks about that into the next couple paragraphs. She talks about where we should devote our time. 80% of your time should be on your personal business. So I want you to think about that. Are you spending 80% of your time looking at team pages and threads and liking and commenting on people? That's not personal business. 80% of our time, and she even says it, she breaks it down what we need to do. Talk to people. Find those who want to be your customers. Give them the best possible service. Find those who want to join your team. Training newbies in the first 30 days for them to be successful. And she says then you've got 10% should be devoted to three-way calls and three-way messages for your team. And then 10% should be spent on your personal training. This is 10%. So if you feel like you're spending 80% on just listening to recordings all day long, that's not what you need to do. 80% needs to be poured into talking to people, setting people up, getting people introduced to Plexus. And then 10% needs to be poured into your personal training and then training for your team. And then she talks about mamas over here. And I love that she said that because I'm not a mom and I can't relate, but I do have friends that are moms who are more successful than me in this business and they're doing amazing things. And she talks about, so if you're a mom, I urge you to go to page 19 and read the bottom of that again and reflect on that. She can speak to you a little bit deeper and better than I ever could. And she said, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be very honest with you. She said, you cannot grow this business, a 6 and 7 figure income business with a 1 hour nap time. You can't. She said, there's no way. If you're only devoting 1 hour nap time and you want 6 and 7 figure income. Now, if you want $500, yes. Maybe 1,000, possibly. You want emerald, sapphire, diamond money? It's not going to happen. And I was talking to one of my good friends, Amy Welch, the other day, Sapphire Ambassador. A lot of y'all know Amy Welch. She purposely put her little girl in school multiple days a week. I think she's 5 days a week. Adelaide's 5 days a week. She's 5 days a week because she said, I can't become diamond with her around me. I love my baby. She goes, I don't drop her off at 7 a.m. and I don't pick her up at 5:30, but I drop her off maybe 9:30. She's later. I want to start my morning with her breakfast, slow time, and then I'm picking her up about 3:30. So she's not the last pickup, but I need me time to be successful because I'm ready to be double diamond. I'm ready to be quadruple diamond, and I need her to leave. And then when she comes back, I appreciate her more. She appreciates me more. She's structured. She's got naps. She's got snacks. She's got time. She's got playtime. She's got those efforts. And she said on here, flat out, she said, but it's unrealistic to think you won't need more uninterrupted time. So investing in a babysitter a few hours a week can make an exponential difference in your long-term success. She said, remember, you're the CEO of your business. Tell me of a mom of littles who became a successful CEO of a startup business who only did this 1 hour a day. No, who didn't put her children in childcare or have help or have a babysitter or have nighttime. Maybe you're thinking, Jill, we can't afford babysitter. We can't. I can imagine, if Dakota and I would have had kids 3 years ago, I couldn't afford that either. I know that at that point in time. But I would have had to look and say, okay, but when you come home at this time, I need your help with bath, bed, dinner, because my business time starts at 9 o'clock and I've got to work from 9 to midnight. I do. That's what I have to do. So that's where you have to reflect and you have to be honest and see where you want to be. Again, hobby money, different story. This is 6 and 7 figure earner money. Reason number 3, you're not willing to get uncomfortable. And I love it. I love the quote of saying we have to be comfortable doing the uncomfortable. And she goes to talk about nobody went to school to do this. Nobody is trained at building a network marketing company. You become trained while you learn. And she says that towards the bottom of that page 20. She says, if only, you were, it only works if you allow yourself to earn while you learn. So don't wait. A lot of people are like, well, when I'm gold, I'll start doing trainings for my team, or when I'm gold, I'll start doing 3-way calls, or when I'm silver, I'll do a little bit more. When I'm emerald, yeah, I'll do that. Don't wait. Learn while you earn. So no matter what level you are in this business, when you just started or you've been here for a year or 2 years, earn while you learn. Today, I'm earning while I'm learning, and I'm learning while I'm earning. I want my business and income to grow. I need to grow. I need to learn. I need to find things that are uncomfortable. I need to find things that I'm not knowledgeable about, and I need to grow in those areas. She said we all have to muck our way through those first few months before we start to get the hang of it. And I know you could probably say your first 6 months doing this, you're like, what was that? I don't know. And you might still feel like that today. Your first 12 months, your first 18 months, guys. I probably didn't feel like I got the hang of this. You're probably going to laugh. You're going to be like, really? I probably didn't feel like I got the hang of this and a system down until I was solid emerald. And when I say solid emerald, I'm not like barely making 1,500 points. I was like 18 to 19, rounding 2,000. That's when I felt like, okay, I am confident and comfortable with the uncomfortable, and I'm going to keep trudging along. That took a while. That took me about 16 months, 18 months, 2 years to even say, yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing, and it's working because I can see the fruits of my labor building income and building success. So look at the fruits of your labor. Is your paycheck increasing? Is your team increasing? Is your PV increasing? Are you growing? And if you say, no, my paycheck's dropping, okay, you don't have the hang of it yet. And be honest with yourself. And don't let your arrogant pride get in the way, like she says. Say, no, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I need to keep learning. I need to keep working through the muck and the truck, and I need to figure out what's going to work for me. So let me go back to my successful uplines and let me do those things that have paved the way. And if you don't relate to me, we don't mesh with personalities. You think I'm, I don't know, crazy, annoying, whatever, then find somebody you do relate to. You don't relate to Rachel. You think, I don't know, she's too tough, she's too hard. Find somebody you do relate to. Guys, I had to find a lot of people outside that I just didn't even know that they were my mentor. And what's funny today, me being a diamond, I've told them, I'm like, do you know that like you mentored me? And they're like, what? I mentored you? I'm like, girl, every video you did, everything you did, I took it to heart and I held on to it. Maybe you find another Plexus ambassador that you click with. You don't have to know her or talk to her to click with her. Find something. Find someone that speaks to you. I know Rachel clicks so well with Carrie Wilkerson. She even purchased Carrie Wilkerson's, what's it called? Like training, executive boot camp training, that she can log on to Carrie Wilkerson lives and Zooms like this so that she can be a part of it. She's like, Joe, I relate to her. Oh, go girl, get it, get your thing. A chapter of my life back around a year and a half ago, I related really, really big to Leslie Zann. I purchased Leslie Zann's personal coaching, and I saved a whole Plexus paycheck for that. And Allie and I actually did a 6-week-long coaching with Leslie Zann. I related to her. She spoke my lingo at that business at that point in time where I was at. I logged on to weekly things with her. I read her books. I went to her trainings. That is what you do. It doesn't have to be a Plexus person to get you to where you need to be. Find somebody, dig deep, and I highly recommend Carrie Wilkerson. She is amazing. So we got to get comfortable doing the uncomfortable. And then she says, reason number 4, they're not hungry enough. And I'm going to go post in the event page, Les Brown, hungry video. He's amazing. I love Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker. If you were at convention this year, you got the opportunity to hear him. But he has a video, and it's called, Are You Hungry Enough? And he talks about that. And she says right down here, I love it, so funny. She says, you have to be starving. You got to be so hungry, like I haven't had a carb in 6 months kind of hungry. And I know, sister, I can go without a carb for one day, and I'm not fun to be around. I like carbs, okay? Carbs make me happy. I like carbs. They make me fuel my energy levels over here. But she says, you know, your priorities, you're not hungry enough. And she talks about one of her friends in this business who's really struggling big time, and they were about to lose their house and their marriage and their income. And she said, Sister Girl was hungry, and she knew she had to figure it out. And she was feeding her kids at the food bank, and she knew she had to turn it around. And today she's the top earner of one of the top earners of that company. So whatever's going on in your life, and she says that, she said, a thing called life is going to happen. It gets in the way. Your kids get sick. There's a big project at your day job. You're tired. There's a really good episode of Scandal on. I mean, we all know about that, right? I mean, hello, I love The Bachelor. I love Grey's Anatomy. So their business gets moved way down the priority list. And she said, that's life. So life happens to all of us every single day. I don't care how many kids, how many times you've been married, how much your bank account looks like. Life happens to all of us. We're all working the same 24 hours. So why do some people stop working their business when life happens? And why do some people flourish through that muck time? Because they're hungry. That's why. And they're damned and determined to change their life and the path of what's going to happen. She said, I was starving. I was willing to do whatever it took to build this. I was willing to do that. She said, I was tired of that hum-ho life. And she said, on page 22, she goes into vision. I visualized the taste of freedom. I visualized vacations. I visualized my husband coming home. I visualized luxury resorts. I visualized those things. I could taste this life. So I wasn't going to give up. I was going to keep going. My family was hungry. We were here. And so on page 23, she talks about that friend who hit rock bottom with her income and her food stamps and everything. She said, you got to get up. She said, what's going to keep you getting up today and tomorrow? What's going to keep you one more phone call? What's going to keep you one more reach out? What's going to keep you one more welcome pack? What's going to keep you one more three-way message? What is it? For that friend she was talking about, it was the dirt and the muck and the bankrupts and the food banks and the food stamps. For me, it was going into a day-end job that I felt stuck in a rut and I was miserable, and it was making me so not me. I walked around angry and mad, and it was growing a life without my husband. That was my rock bottom. Seeing that more bills and money was going out than coming in. And if you've ever been in that situation, you know what I mean. We were paying more than what we had. So where that put us was credit card, credit card, credit card. Today as a Diamond Ambassador, you could easily think, well, Jill, take one of your paychecks and pay all that off. We were so much in debt, we were swimming in it. Doesn't really work out that way. So we are this close. We are $5,718 left of credit card debt that we almost got up to 50 grand. 50 grand. So that is where I didn't want to live any longer. And I was hungry. I didn't want him to go off and never even know our kids one day and keep working that. I was hungry. So she said, now that we've got all that out of the way, on the bottom of page 23, she puts it in that little box thingy, and I circled it in pink right there. What if you dig deep and start to dream bigger so that your hunger propels into action. And that's where you wake up when you're tired. That's where you stay up later even though you want to go to bed. That's where the new Scandal rerun's going to have to wait till Sunday around 3 p.m. or something like that, and you can't watch it live. Guys, Bachelor in Paradise is my jam. I love Bachelor in Paradise. I'm behind three weeks. That's okay. I don't have time to see who's kissing who and sleeping with who right now, but I will get to that whenever that time comes. It's recorded. Thank the heavens for DVR. If you ain't got it, invest in it. If you do like your little trash TV every now and then, okay? I understand that. Whatever you need to do, you need to get there. What's going to keep you one more? Yesterday, my husband came home and he said, "You're still in the office?" He didn't get home until about 9:30 after working all day, and he went to train MMA fight. He said, "You're still in the office?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "When I called you at noon, you were in the office." "Yeah." He said, "When I called you at 9, you were in the office." "Yeah." He said, "How long have you been in the office?" I said, "It was about 8:45. He goes, "It's 9:45 to 9. I said, "I want you to go Emerald. I want you to go Diamond." Okay. All right. That's my dreams. So you might think, oh, financial freedom, time freedom, whatever. Jill works an hour a day. No, I don't. My dreams are so big. I want no debt in our life. When we do move, I want that massive down payment to be so extremely big. We're barely financing anything. I want our kids' college fund to be paid for each of them by the time they're 10. I don't know how many we're going to have. By the time they're in college, it's probably $150,000 each. I don't know. So I've got a why of where we're going and what we're doing. So if that requires me on a quiet time to be in my office for 12 hours, I will. If that requires me to go to bed at midnight, I will. If that requires me to not watch The Bachelor in Paradise, I will. If that requires me to make my husband drive in the car, which he knows, I go to the passenger seat, he goes to the driver's seat, and here's Jill. And he's like, "You good?" "Yeah, I'm great." And he knows. My wife has dreams, she has goals, and she's changing our life. I'm not going to bitch about her on the phone. Now, I used to. We had to have that conversation. I'm not going to talk about that. I know she's working. She's not Facebooking. I know she's doing something. So if you're at that position in your life and your spouse doesn't see that or your family doesn't see that, prove it so they do. Money makes people talk, guys. Money makes people shut up. When you're bringing home a $1,000 paycheck, your husband's going to go work, babe. Get on that phone call. When you're bringing home a $10,000 paycheck, your husband's going to go, "Okay, I'll leave you alone." When you're bringing home a $20,000 paycheck, your husband's going to say, "Okay, babe, whatever you want to do." When you're bringing home a $30,000 paycheck, your husband's going to kiss you on the forehead and say, "Can I bring you dinner?" So you do exactly what you need to do to get you to where you need to be. This isn't easy, but it's simple when we make it simple. So I'm going to turn it over and pass it over to Rachel for chapter 2.
Some things wasn't that fabulous. Amen to all of that. So then I'm going to go right into a nice transition to us talking about why you're doing this. What are your goals? What's making you, get up and work every single day and making those sacrifices? Because y'all, if you see this and you've been on any call of ours, which I know it's the same people that are on these calls every time. So I know that y'all are listening to what we're saying. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over, no matter who it comes from. It's the same thing, just said a different way or written a different way. People are talking about sacrifices. People are talking about figuring out why you're doing this. People are talking about just downright working. So this is a very simple business. It's just people do it many, many different ways. You have to figure out what works for you, what sacrifices you're willing to make, and then you just have to do it. That really is it. And that's why when we go through these, you might say, "Man, I know like this person said that in that video, or this person said that in that book." It's because these people are successful. They're all doing the same things. They're working. They're making the sacrifice. They're finding their why, and they're working. So we're going to go into chapter 2, and it talks about your why. So we've talked about this many times before. Again, people talk about their why because you have to have one. It's going to make you get up and work. We've talked about this a million times. When I was teaching, I went to work because I had to get a paycheck. That was my why. If I didn't go to work and I called in, I wasn't getting paid. So my why was I wanted a paycheck. I had to pay my bills. That's what kept me going at work. But with network marketing, it's different because no one's making you go to work every day. I don't check in with people on my downline every day and say, "Hey, did you contact your people?" I know you should be doing it, but are you doing it? I don't do that because I'm not your boss. I want people on my team that don't have to be told what to do, that are self-motivated, that are driven, are going to do it themselves because they have a why that's going to make them work. I'm not going to sit here and micromanage every single person. That's not my job. My job is to build my personal business to help me reach my goals. So you have to have a why that makes you get up. Mine too. Obviously, a lot of people are in debt. We're still in debt to this day. My why is driven right now because we have a chalkboard door in our kitchen that everyone sees when they come in, and it has all of our debt that we have still to pay off. And I look at that every single morning when I get up, and I calculate in my head, okay, if I had this many BBBs, I could pay off this little credit card. If I had this many, I could pay off this one. Okay, if I sign 10 people, that's going to pay that payment off, and it's not going to come from our regular 15th of the month commissions paycheck. I have that in front of me because it's what drives me currently. Is it something that drove me in the beginning? No, because I couldn't even pay my normal bills, much less pay a minimum payment on a credit card. I was getting calls from collectors like every day because we were so in debt. And that was just something unfathomable to me. But now that I am able to pay it, now my why is, okay, I'm going to get us out of debt. Next year, we're going to be out of debt. That's not going to be my goal anymore because I'm already going to be out of debt. So now it's going to be my why is going to be, we want to move back into town, saving for a down payment. So your why is definitely going to change as your journey changes. In the very, very beginning, it was to get my products paid for. And then once I saw the vision, it was to quit my teaching job. So your why is definitely going to change and transition as your business goes. Okay. I love what she says. Your why has to be big enough to make you cry. People say that. And then I love how she says, well, I don't know about crying part because I'm always that person that's like, should I be crying? Because I'm so not emotional if y'all know me. But it's something that's going to make you get up every single day, like I said, and work consistently. And that's a consistency that we always talk about. Oh my God, only have 6% battery. So she talks about there's so many things that are taking away your time in your life. And then she talks about, the kids, the school, we've talked about this. There's so many time takers in your life. And that's why we did the call at the beginning of the month power hour last week that talked about, or this week, sorry, plan out your time to make this fit into your schedule. And then I love also how she says, it will never be a priority if you don't make it a priority. She says this on 25. I love this. It's a vicious cycle. You're not working your business because it's not tied to something you really want, so you don't have a big enough why. You're beating yourself up because you're not working on your business. How many times have we done that? Yes. You're like, oh, I should be working right now. I should be working right now. I know, but I'm not going to. And then you're beating yourself up because you're not working your business. Then you're not working your business because it's now all about guilt and failure. So you beat yourself up even more. So you're in this vicious cycle. And I've talked to many people, and I felt this way where you're like, I know I'm not doing everything I should, but then you beat yourself so much that you're like, I suck at this. Why would I even do this? Why don't I just quit? It'd be so much easier to quit. You talk yourself down and down and down and down. Really, it's all about just going back and saying, okay, I'm going to take an hour. Here we go, siren. I'm going to take an hour, y'all. Hopefully, they're fixing this AC in my office, so we'll be back in there next week. But, I'm going to take an hour, and I'm going to go turn off my phone, put it in the other room, or else you will look at it. And I'm going to sit and figure out my why. Why am I really doing this business? And guys, it can't be money, because guess what? How many times have you heard this phrase or this phrase come out of your own mouth? We can make it work. A million. You can never money be your only driving factor, because you will make it work. You'll open another credit card, or you'll sell something on Craigslist, or you'll do this or you'll do that to come up with the money. You'll always make it work. So it has to be something different. We've been making it work, y'all. There's people that are 70 that have been making it work their whole entire life and are still in debt and are still not able to do what they want to do in life because they don't have that why that makes them want to be more. So that's page 25. And then I like also how she said, your why has to be about you. Our team is mainly women, so I'm going to speak to the women here. As women, we feel like we need to take care of someone. I just went in my office and I had to clean up after my husband, but I feel like that's my job as a wife, and not to, complain about it or, bitch to him about it or whatever. That I feel like that's my job as a wife. For us, if you're a mother, you feel like, no, I need to take my baby to the doctor. No, that's my job as a mother. We have servants' hearts as women. That's just the way God made us. We have the servant's heart. And sometimes when we do stuff selfishly for ourselves, we think that we're bad people. You have to make your why about you, because that is what is going to keep you going. That's when it is going to make that drive and that fire inside of you build up. You have to make it about you. And on 27, she says, women are programmed to do everything for others. Y'all, we are. Guess who is cleaning up at tailgates? Guess who is, whenever dinner's cooked and done, who's cleaning up the kitchen? Women instinctively do that. Men go sit on the couch and, grab a beer, whatever they do. Women instinctively do for others. You have to make it about you. So instead of saying something like, well, I want to make more money in order to, you have to peel back the layers, in order to help my husband out. You have to make it about you. You know what? No, I want to do this because I want to prove that I don't need my husband's money in order to do something. I never want to ask him for something again. If I want to go on a trip, I'm going to buy the trip myself. I don't have to ask him. If I want to go get that purse, I'm going to buy the purse. I don't have to ask him. It's empowering. It's very empowering. So you have to make it about you. And oftentimes, guys, people have a why that they create, and then they reach that why, and then they get stuck in their business because now they need a bigger why. So think about if I would have stopped at, okay, like $500 would really help us out. I could actually pay my electricity bill and not be late on it. I can actually put gas in my car and not have to wait till payday. Okay, so when I reached that goal, what if I would have stopped and I would have never created a new why? What if I would have just sat there forever? I'll tell you what, I would not have that Lexus in the driveway right now. I would not be going to Hawaii because I would have not dreamed bigger. So you have to dream bigger when you reach your why. So when you reach your why, don't stop. That's when so many people stall in their business. They stall. They're stagnant and they don't know where to go from there. So when I saw the potential, when I paid our mortgage, I said, oh my gosh, I paid our mortgage. If I can just double what I do, I can quit my teaching job. That's like my teaching salary. So that was my new why. And I did whatever I could, and that drove me out of bed. And y'all, Jill and I talk about all the time, we were tired as a mother whenever we were teaching and we were doing Plexus. We would get up at 4, go to bed at midnight, get up at 4, go to bed at midnight, weekends, all Plexus. I mean, y'all, we worked and we were so tired. But you know what? That why drove me. And I would even have days where I was crying. My husband would literally say, you have to get up and go teach. And he would push me out of the door. And I would say, and we always said, 69 more days of teaching, 68 more days of teaching. I can do this for 67 more days. I can do this. And then it became, I can do this for 10 more days. All it is 9 more days and I'm out of here. And then, hey, we're peacing out. This is my last day of teaching. So you have to be able to push through that, and your why is going to drive you. Because to me, I wanted to quit my job more than I wanted sleep. And I love, Jill said, like Carrie Wilkerson. Seriously, I'm like Carrie Wilkerson's fangirl. Like she friend requested me on Facebook and I almost passed out. But whenever she said, whenever you're having this struggle and you're so busy and you're so tired and you just don't know if you can fit more on your plate, guys, get a bigger plate. And she said, does it kill you if you're tired? Has tiredness ever killed someone? It hasn't. So if you're tired, even if it's for a year, it's okay. You will survive, but you have to make sure your why is big enough. That's going to push you, or else you're not. And also I love how she said to share your why. Jill really came back from Hawaii last year and Carrie was there. Y'all, I'm serious. Carrie Wilkerson, I like freaking love her. But she talked to them about talking to your shareholder about your goals. And I hadn't really done that with Kenan. And that's when Kenan was complaining about me being on the phone a lot. And, you're always in the office working and we never go to dinner anymore. Because I had never shared with him what I was doing. I would just tell him, I'm working Plexus. He didn't know what that meant. He thought I was playing on Facebook. He legit did, because I obviously do my business on Facebook. So when I shared with him my why and what I was doing and why I was doing this for us, it was like a total mindset shift for him. And it really opened my eyes too, because we were able to openly talk about it. And now it wasn't just some, fun thing I did on the side. It was a business, and he understood that. And he understood that I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to get us out of debt. He understood that I wanted to travel with him when he travels for work, because he travels all the time. I wanted to provide that. He took care of me so much when he worked in the oil field that I wanted to now take care of him. And so when I had that conversation with it, like, talk about mind blowing. So share your why. Don't keep it to yourself. It's not helping you any. And also on those days where, I didn't want to go work, would say, no, you're going to go to work. You can do this. You're stronger than that. You have a why. And he would talk to me about it. But if I'd never talked to him about that, he wouldn't have known. 31, she said, I think one of the biggest reasons many people can't find their real why, the one that will make them get uncomfortable, like Jill was talking about, stretch and grow and consistently go up, is because they don't dig deep enough. They're so surface level-y. It's really like peeling back an onion. As you explore your why, keep asking yourself, well, why is that? Well, why do you want to get out of debt? Oh, because it'd be nice to, not be making all this money, but having to put it right out the door and not have anything left. Well, why? What would that do for you? It would give me the ability to, give back more. It would give me the ability when things like happen, like a hurricane, I could give $10,000 if I wanted to and not blink. Things like that are what drive me, helping people and not having that strain on our budget. So that, well, why is that? How does that make you feel? Well, that's my goal in life. I want to, I've always had a giving heart, this, that. Peel it back. Don't just say, I want to make more money. That's not going to drive you. You really have to peel it until you have the moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. Like, that's it. If it's something with you where you don't want to fight with your husband about money anymore, it'd be really nice if we had a conversation that wasn't about money. I'm going to make that happen. If that's your why, make it happen. And then I already talked about that. You always make it work. Okay. And then it talks about on 32, and then after her, it's got 3% battery left. It talks about on 32 goals, setting the goals and then getting it one step at a time. And I'm really just going to say, or taking one bite at a time, not trying to, deal with the whole elephant all at once, but one bite at a time. It's more manageable. So I'm going to just say on this, we recorded a beginning of the month goals call, and we did a really great job. Jill did a really great job about talking about goals and how you set them and what that looks like specifically for Plexus. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I want you to, if you have not watched this, go back to the team page. We posted in there a few days ago. Today is like September 7th, 6th, something like that. So it was maybe like the 4th or the 3rd. It was on a Sunday. So kind of look at your calendar, then figure out on the team page, go back on there based on that. But it's a beginning of the month call. It was really awesome. So check that out for goals. And then, so I'm not really going to go a lot on that. Okay. And what I do want to say about goals is creating a dream board is really cool for helping you to reach your next goal. So I know that, we do little collages all the time with Plexus. Just put that as a background on your phone. Put it somewhere where you're going to see it, because I promise you when you see stuff daily, it's going to motivate you and drive you more. And guys, the cool thing about little goals is, let's say this week I want to sign one. Okay, I want to sign 3 ambassadors this month. That's at least one a week. If I can do 1 a week, that's 4. That's great. That's above my goal. This week, my goal is to sign 1 ambassador. So rather than thinking about all 4 at one time, think about the 1 ambassador that you can sign. If it's Saturday and you haven't signed someone, hustle your honey off and get someone signed up. And then guess what? When you reach that small goal, you're going to have such a huge victory, and it's going to keep you going and going and going versus saying, I want to go gold. Okay, you need 20 ambassadors. Oh my God, I will never get 20 ambassadors. Oh my God. You're going to have all this you're going to have a really hard time reaching your goal. But when you break it down and say, okay, this week I am going to get 1, no matter what I do, I'm not going to bed on Sunday night before I sign someone up. I'm going to do whatever it takes. You reach that goal, it's going to keep you going to the next week. Okay, this week, now my goal is another ambassador. It's going to keep you going and keep you going. So make those small goals, reach them rather than focusing on the big goal. Because what happens if I focused on running a half marathon and I couldn't the first week, y'all, I'd be so deflated. I would say, oh my God, I can only do 1 mile. After run 13 of these, I would be so deflated and I would just quit. But if I focus and say, okay, this week I'm going to run 1 mile. Next week I'm going to run 1.5. The next week I'm going to run 3. The next week I'm going to run 4. Guess what? I'm going to keep on going because I gave myself realistic goals. I didn't make goals like, I'm going to be emerald by December whenever it's already September and I'm gold. Is that realistic? Can it happen? 100% yes. Is it realistic? No. And all you're going to do is quit if you don't make your goals realistic. And I love this last story that I'm going to end it because I don't want to die on y'all. But she was talking about one of her friends, Tracy, and she's like a top earner now. She has a Lexus and this and that. Says if you ask Tracy if she started her business thinking about earning a shiny Lexus and moving back to her native Southern California to live by the beach, she will tell you absolutely not. I had to start with putting food on my table first. So that was her first why. I'm going to feed my kids. Then making more money than my teaching job was paying. That was her second goal. All right, now I'm going to work and I'm going to match my teacher salary so I can quit. Very similar to me. So I could quit and spend more time on my business. Then she had a new goal. Okay, now I have this. Now I am going to. That's obtainable. I have all this time to work on my business. Heck yeah, I'm going to work towards that Lexus and that big income so I can move. You see how it went in chunks? So she didn't just get into Plexus thinking, I'm going to quit my job. That's it. This is going to happen. It's going to happen tomorrow. Don't get burnt out. Because guess what? If you go balls to the wall in the beginning, those people all fizzle and fade. It's the people that consistently show up every single day and don't get burnt out, but consistently do the work they know they need to be doing, which we talk about at the beginning of the month call. So watch it if you have not. Then those are the people that stay around. It's not the people that come in like a wrecking ball and then they do big bad things for 2 months and then where'd they go? Guys, I've had so many people on my team that some of you probably don't even know because you weren't even in this business when they joined. They came in, they did amazing things, and now people are like, who's that? Don't be that person that people look back and say, who is that? I've never even heard of them. Who are they? Because you came in and then you faded out. Don't be like that. Be the one that stands the long run. And then on the thing I'm going to end with, Jill already talked about you got to talk your honey off to everyone. Okay, 37. How badly do you want it? And Jill closed out with that too, and I'm going to finish this off by circling back to that. So how badly do you want it loops back to your why. It's got to be big enough that you're willing to give up things like TV. And she says, I didn't watch television for the first 2 years of my business unless it was she was in the hospital. Truth, I did not either. She gave up People magazine. She worked in the bathroom instead. She gave up cooking. She did meal assembly, y'all. H-E-B meals are the way to go. She outsourced her stuff. Guess what? You have to do that. You have to make the sacrifice. I can't tell you how many dinners I did not make, how much TV I did not watch, how many things I did not do in my first 2 years of working my business. I'm barely getting to where I will sit down and watch a movie with Ken. And if you're not making that sacrifice, then maybe, you know, you need to reflect and say, is this something that I'm willing to sacrifice for? And if not, that's totally okay. But if you are, it might be time to start making some sacrifices, y'all, because this business will not happen if you don't sacrifice. I don't even know the word TV while I was teaching and doing Plexus. I never sat down and relaxed. I had no idea what that meant. I was always moving. So just reflect on that. So I'm going to challenge y'all now. This might cut me off, so if it does, sorry, but because I have 1%, but I'm going to challenge you now. Sit down, go through that little why thing that she says on how to make your why. Share your why, make your why, create it. Take some quiet time right now, or when your kid's taking a nap, or tonight. Create your why, share it with your shareholder, and then share it with your upline and let them know why you are doing this business. I promise you it'll be a game changer. Write it out and stick it somewhere where you're going to see it. It's going to rock your world. So thank y'all so much, guys. Next week will be chapters 3 and 4. So go ahead and read up on that, and we will see y'all then. I'll post this recording when I get this computer plugged in. Bye, guys.